So hi again everyone, we're back with volume 6 and 7. Looks like these are going to be pretty quick because there aren't many parts for either. Volume 6 is just really this one large metal piece that seems to be the storage compartment for the upper rear part of the turret. And then we have a couple of pieces, a door, a turret door, side door, and another fiberboard that I guess puts everything together on the inside. So we'll get started with volume 6 and 7 here. I think I also have volume 8 and 9 I'm going to do right after this, so I'm not sure if I'll put in a separate video or combine it, but we'll get there when we get there. So without further ado, let's get started with number 6. Should be really quick. So if we look at volume 6, again, nothing too special. We're starting to see the same covers over and over again, just a couple of more parts here. That's pretty much it. As explained earlier, we've just got the upper back part as well as 3 screws that go with it. So I'll probably bring out the tank, and then need the turret, and it looks like it's just going to go right as it looks, right on top of that that back part we put on a few weeks ago, and it'll look like this at the end. So I'll bring out the turret and we'll get that in there really quickly. Alright, so we're back. Here's a piece. It is metal. It's quite heavy. And it's just going to go back over here, over these 2 points. It does have these 2 notches, so I'm assuming it's going to go in just like that. And from the bottom side, we'll put in those 2 screws. They did give us 1 extra screw. That's always nice. And it seems they give us a lot of spare parts, which is really cool. But we'll get that in there. It's just going to probably pop in like this. Yep, looks just like that. And then at the bottom here, we'll get the screws in here and over here, and then we'll be good to go for this week. Or at least volume 6. So I'll get that in there, be right back. Okay, we're back, and we got her in there just fine. This is what it looks like in the back here. It took a little bit of being careful and some effort to make sure that's in there and not wiggly. It was a little wiggly for a while, but you just gotta be patient with these really small screws. But everything's in there now, and that's it for volume 6 in terms of the building. As always, I'll give you guys a look at the other contents of the magazine, but for now, volume 6, that's what we have all the way through it. Get turrets coming together, less holes as we go on. And without stopping here, let's get right into the content that some of the anime fans would appreciate. Alright, so this looks like it's the episode guide for episode 3, Shiai Yarimasu, and B part. I did watch the entire anime again before. This was a couple of months ago, so I don't actually remember everything. I've just switched jobs, so my mind is full of a lot of different things right now. But I guess this was the tournament match with the English army. And I know this character is quite popular. We have a little bit of dialogue here. I know that these characters are also popular, right? The student council ones. And we have a little bit about their tank at the bottom here. The Hetzer. Which was actually a very convenient, or I wouldn't say convenient, but pretty efficient ambush tank destroyer that they had in World War II. When Germany was kind of desperate towards the end of the line there, you needed tanks, and it was easy to put Hetzers together. And since they were in a defensive position, they could hide them pretty well and ambush enemy armor, as well as do some infantry support. So the Hetzer is always a nice tank. It's an interesting looking one though. Sorry, a little bit of glare. For those that may want to screenshot and take a look at the content. And we got a cast interview from one of the voice actors of Woods. I believe that's the student body president. Here's some of the content. I'll hold it steady for anyone who wants to screenshot and do translations on your own. I'm far too busy to be doing that right now. And a little bit more about the character, as well as more content from the interview, as well as what kind of a battle she likes, and what's her favorite character. She likes Kombi. And here's some character diagrams and some stats. She's 142 centimeters. I guess everyone's short, but I guess that's good for people who need to be in a tank, especially World War II tanks that were very small. Kadotani Anzu. And we got a little bit more of character design. Going to the right side here. We got another tank. Panzer Kampfwagen 38. And some of the stats down here about the tank. Alright, and that's it for volume 6, and we'll hop right into, I'll get what I showed just earlier, volume 7 stuff. It's going to be another quick one. Looks like the parts are getting kind of meager here on out, so everything's just going to be going by quickly. So I'll get that out and be right back. Sorry, I misspoke. It's volume 7. We did 6 previously, now it's 7. I'm losing track already. And we're not even 10% in. So here's what volume 7 looks like. Again, they're reusing the pictures now. And I think this one's going to be a little bit more parts than last time for volume 6. Volume 6 only really had one part. And this one we have a couple more here. And here we go, volume 7 part list. We've got a fiberboard, a couple of doors. I think that's going to be to shut off the door on the side of the tank on the left side or the right side. And then some screws. So this one should be pretty quick, although a little bit more than last time. And here's the parts list. A couple more steps, nice and big pictures here. It looks like first the fiberboard's going to go in. It's going to go into that storage compartment we installed just earlier in volume 6. As seen here. And then we're going to have some parts for that door that we mentioned. Anything else after that? Yeah, a little bit more zoomed in diagram. Again, working with that door, probably getting inner components in there so that I believe that this door will be able to open and close, which is nice. I always like that. Always want to be able to reveal that interior. That's what we're paying all that big money for. And doors go in. And that looks like that will be it. I'll shift over to the next page, but oh, I was a little bit wrong. There's one more piece that goes on top of that. I think this might be parts that help mount the skirts that will be coming maybe in a future issue. But anyway, that's what it's going to look like at the end. And of course, we'll show you at the end. So we'll get started with that. I'll get the parts out. And we will go from there. The parts are right here. A very small package for volume 7. We're back here with the big boy. And the things are going to go in under here. Again, this was from volume 6, this upper metal part, the storage for the back there. And we're going to be flipping her over like this. And according to the directions, this fiberboard is going to go in here. And those screws that we used are all going to be used in this one step. So this is just going to go in right like that. I'll get in there and be right back. Okay, that looked pretty straightforward, but getting those screws in there was really a pain. But there we go, 1, 2, 3, 4. My hands are just big, so getting those screws placed and getting them in there was kind of a pain. Took about 10 minutes, but it's all in there now. So this board's in there. And there's a little gap here, I'm assuming, for all the cables to be threaded through. And hopefully we can do some good cable management in the future and keep all of those ugly cables kind of in here and out of sight, which would be nice. So I guess the next part is the directions are going to have us now rotate this way, as we can see here. And then from here, we're going to be working on the interior notches for this door on the left side if you're facing in this direction. So we'll get those in there. 1, 2, I believe 1 and 2. So yeah, this was gonna like this goes over here. If I bring that part out, yeah, it looks like this piece right here is going to go in there. So if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be in this orientation. And if we move the cables out of here. It's going to be on this left side here where that notch is. It's going to go in right over there, if you can see. And we'll get that in there. So I'll be right back. Gonna have to use glue for the first time in what seems like kind of a while. So we're back after a healthy dose of glue. It's over here. May have used a little bit too much glue, but a moving part will be going here, so I wanted to make sure it was pretty reinforced. So that's that. I believe we're gonna have the next one here. Let me check the directions really quick. Yeah, as we can see, we're beginning another part over here in this segment over here, and I believe it's this piece over here has the notches, and it's gonna go in like this probably. Yeah, just like this, and I believe the doors will notch into that and they'll be able to open and close, which is nice. So I'll get that in here with another healthy serving of glue and be right back. Yeah, it looks like both parts are in there with some nice amount of glue, just like that. And then I think we're gonna go in the next page. I'm gonna get to the outside here. I'm gonna have to let this glue dry a little bit, so I'll go take a break or look at the next issue for now. But these doors will go over here, and that'll be that. And I believe there'll be just one more piece, which is this thing over here that goes over the door. So I think we're just gonna hop into reading the magazine for now, because I don't want to put those doors in while these two pieces are still drying with the glue. So I'll be sure to just maybe let this sit for an hour, and then of course at the end of the video I'll show what the whole thing looks like at the end. So without further ado, let's go back to the magazine. So here's some details about the engine itself. I don't know much about engines, but those of you who are into girls on Panzer as well as engines, well, here you go. A lot of this doesn't make sense to me, even if it were in English. So very interesting there. I know that in World War II, a lot of tanks broke down quite often, especially German tanks. But the Panzer IV was one of the more reliable ones, as I've heard. And this is an episode guide for episode 4. So we got some scenes from the anime and those brightly colored tanks, of course. Although the tank battles are completely unrealistic, they were fun to watch, I have to admit. And we got another Panzer, a Panzer IV. I like, again, a big fan of the German gray. This was part of the early part of the anime before they added the skirts and changed it to the mustard desert, the desert mustard. And you can see here some information about that tank, as well as one of those funny scenes from the anime where they were just drying their clothes over the barrel of the main gun. And that's actually all we have for Volume 7. So it was very short. Volume 6 and Volume 7 were very short. And that's that. I think I'll just hop into Volume 8 and 9. I might separate them into a separate video. Of course, I need to show everyone what the tank looks like through Volume 7 here, but I'm still waiting for that piece to dry. So thanks for being with me this far, and see you in the next one of Volume 8. Well, as promised here, at the end of Volume 7, here's what we got. The door is in along with his upper piece. It's probably used to mount something else. But as you can see, these doors do open. Right one should be first, left one second, and we're closed. And of course, we also had this fiberboard put into place over here. So that's it for Volume 7. We're going to get over to Volume 8 next. Alright, here we're back. Volume 8, we're just going to bang this out. We just did 6 and 7, they were really short. 8 looks to be another short volume. 9 looks to be a little bit longer with some more big pieces, I would say. Big is in terms of important to the rotating of, or the actuation of some parts. So here we go with Volume 8. Volume 8, again, is short. Looks like we just have the pieces for the door. The opposite side, I believe the left side of the turret, the door there, as well as a couple mounts, some more screws there. And it looks like big Volume 9, we've got a motor, okay? So more cables, a motor, that's exciting. Maybe we can do something else. So far, we've got the solenoid in there, so we have the recoil from the gun, but we haven't gotten anything else electronic in there. It's outside of a circuit board, so it'll be really interesting to see what this is. So without further ado, I guess we get started with volume 8. I do have volume 10 and 11, I believe, in the box. It was delivered earlier this week, so I guess we can get ahead of the game as well. So here, let's do with volume 8. I'll be right back. Alright, as we open the first page here, volume 8. And again, this looks like what the next one's going to be, which we just showed it to you. We have that in hand already. And here we go. Here are some of the pieces here. Again, it's just going to be doors, as well as a cable mount, it looks like. A cable mount A and B, as well as 3 screws. So this one should be rather painless. Well, I always say that, but the screws always get the best of me. So, going on to here, step 1. It looks like we're going to get some of this cable piece in there. So it's going to pop in like that in the inner part of the turret with 1 screw. And it's going to end up looking like this. It's going to hook around that one part at the end towards the circuit board and screw in on the other end. And I believe we're just going to do the same thing on the other side. Same here. And then from here, we're just beginning those the mounts for the doors. Again, I'm going to have to let that dry before I show you how it looks when it's all done, because we do have a moving piece working on that. And the other side, as seen here. Sorry for the glare. And then finally, the doors come in. And I believe there'll be one more piece in the top here, again for mounting something, it seems. So this is exactly like how the previous one was. So it's not going to be anything really difficult. And there we go. It looks like everything's going to be nice and closed up by the end here. It's starting to look like a real tank turret, not just a work in progress. So let's get started on that. I'll be right back and get those parts out. Okay, so as always, we want to get the turret in the correct orientation as shown in the directions. It's really important. This is the piece right here, the first thing to be going in. It'll be hard to see, but this notch is going to come in like this, right? It's going to get this cable out of the way. So this thing right here has got this notch. It's going to feed right into this part right here. So in one motion, she should pop in just like that, just like that. And then the screw is going to come in over here. So quite straightforward there. I'm very glad this is really easy, and the screw is going to be really easy to get to. So I should be able to get this done really quick. I'll be right back. Just like that, she's in there. That tab piece is right where it's supposed to be in here. And the screw is in. That was very, very easy. Sorry, focus. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the exact same thing for the back side here. I wouldn't say back side, but the opposite side. I believe it's just going to slot in just like this, just like the last time. So screw will again go right here, and I'll get that in there and be right back. Right, that's that. Very easy. There's a screw over here. She's in there, and that is that for now. Moving ahead, we're going to start working on that door. Just like last time, we're going to have the 2 notches over here. I believe on this side is the one with the little curve at the end here. So this piece over here. And we're going to flip that around. She'll go right there. Get the cable out of the way. And then the opposite side, I can bust out these parts properly. On the left side, we got this piece here. Flip this around. I'm going like that. So I'll get those 2 pieces in there and be right back. This is straightforward, just like last edition. All right, there we go. Very straightforward. 1, 2, they're in there. So when we flip to the outside, I'm going to let these dry. So we're going to go over the magazine first, the other contents of the magazine. But once that dries, like last week's piece, if I can bring this gracefully over. Last week's piece is here where we had this upper piece and the 2 doors. Same thing's going to happen. Sorry, turret's long. Need to rotate. without banging other things. And then over here, same thing. We're gonna have right, left door, and this upper piece coming in. But of course, we need to let these two mounts dry before we move forward with that. So I'm gonna let this rest on the side. And let's get to the lore, or the story and the history. Sorry, as you can see, I'm a bit more pumped about building the tank itself over the actual lore and story. I apologize for that, but feel free to pause the video at different points in order to focus on and maybe take a look at what you want to look at. So here, a little bit more of an episode guide for 4, part B. Oh yeah, I remember when they did that weird dance. Okay, some more scenes from the anime. And here we go, the tank that we're building, right? The Panzer IV. And this is what it's supposed to look like when it's done. This is actually what it looks like in the anime. It's a 3D rendered image. And I've always liked this tank since I was a kid. And everyone loves the Tigers, the King Tigers and Jad Tigers. But there's something nice about a tank that you can have a lot of. And it was decently fast and it's kind of replaceable. So it was kind of nice to have. You know, when you lost a Tiger, it really hurt, especially in a lot of the games I played. And also Tigers can be very unmaneuverable. And when you get towards the later parts of the war, like after 1943, the Tiger isn't so scary anymore. Obviously the gun, the 88mm gun, is really nice. But there's something charming about having enough of these guys, these Panzer IVs, so that you're a bit more maneuverable and you can be a little bit more, you can be less conservative about the units that you have. And that's it. Another short one, a little bit more building this time, but that's it for volume 8. And while we're at it, we're still got to let that dry. It's only been a few minutes. That went by really quickly. We'll bust out volume 9 and let's get started with that. I think we can maybe, while that thing is drying, we can maybe just switch up the order and go through the lore and the history, the lore content first. And then we'll get back to building. Hopefully that super glue will be dry enough to pop in those doors and then continue. So to get started with 9. Oh, give me a sec. All right. So here we go with 9. Very simple here. This will be the next one. I've already received it. I've got these parts on hand. And we might continue with that later. So we got a couple of pieces here. Motor casing, the motor itself, and some cables. A lot of screws this time. So hopefully this all gets in easily. I'm starting to really not like the screws because my hands are big and these screws are very small. But hopefully that goes well. Here are some of the pieces. Before we go to that, I'll just show you the pieces here actually. Here are the pieces. We've got the casing pieces here, screws, the cable, power cable, as well as the motor itself down here. Flipping it over to the other side, Dying Hugo. So it's the ninth edition, 9th volume, and that's what it looks like here. So we got the casing unit as well as the motor itself. For now, we're going to be building this after, so let's just go straight to the, one moment please, let's go straight to the actual lore and the anime content. Okay, here we go. I guess this is the 6th volume of dialogue. So we got some dialogue here happening between a couple of the characters. You guys can take a look if you want. Let's flip this like this. And we got here a propelled gun. Part of me wants to say this is a Nashorn. Maybe I'm incorrect, maybe not. Sorry for the glare, let me adjust this properly. More dialogue between the characters. A little bit more history. We have some content about the 5th episode, part A. Looks like they're breaking episodes down in 2 recently, like part A and part B. And when they go to their friend's house, the World War II, the tank will talk. I thought the scene was really funny when the friends showed up, and then the parents were like, "Oh, what? She has friends?" And then the father was freaking out. I thought that was a cute scene. And now we're going over a truck. The Kyugo Shiki. I like how the Japanese name a lot of their World War II tanks and their equipment. It's just Kyugo Shiki Kogata Joyosha, which just basically means exactly as it is here, Type 95, like small pattern vehicle, basically is what it says. So there's no fancy nicknames or anything. It's just literally verbatim what it is. Here are some historical pictures. I guess they're saying that this is Japan's like first four-wheel vehicle, I guess. I'm not quite sure. I have to look into that before, but Jitsuyo, I'm not sure what they use that for. I'll have to read that later. And then that's it in terms of the content for this volume. So they can get nice and short. I expected that as time goes on, because if you think about it, there's going to be 100 volumes. So, you know, each volume can't be as thick as like those first three that were pretty thick. So I'm kind of liking this because I'm kind of running out of time with the new work and stuff. So I'm kind of liking how we're getting straight into the building, just getting a couple of pages of lore and stuff, and then finishing up. And, you know, we'll just get this done. I'm going to take a look at the tank. I'll bust her out really quick, and let's see if we can get those doors in there from the previous volume and get started here with the motors. So I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. I got those pieces in there really quickly. It was dry enough where I was able to get those doors in, but doors open like this, left first, then right, and then this upper piece here is also in there. I took off the magnetic part up here just because it was kind of getting in the way. So that's what it looks like through 8. We're going to jump right into 9, but that's what it looks like through 8. Right, we've got the solenoid in there so I can do that action. Let me rotate this around, it's quite large. And on the other side, we have it all here. So it's getting nice and closed up, just coming together. So without further ado, let's jump into what's needed for 9. So I'll put this inside the rest for a sec. We'll be busting her out again really quickly soon. Alright, so we got to be careful here. So it looks like here is how we're going to assemble the engine or the casing for the motor. It's going to come in like this. And then I guess we can bust out that that test piece again, that board over there, and so that we can see what's going to happen there. I will be sure to show that and some more on the cabling. So without further ado, I'm going to try to get this top part together, and I'll report back on that as soon as I get it done. This piece is out. It looks like it's going to be quite straightforward here. She's going to come over like this. Oh wait, nope, wrong orientation. Wait, no, correct orientation. Like this, as you can see here, motor casing. And then this is kind of grooved like this in a certain shape. Just going to line it up like this and get her in there. After, a screw is going to come in right through here to put that all in together. So I'll get that all together and show you the result when it is finished. So we got those pieces in there. Screw went in here to this mount all the way through. That's what the motor looks like. Okay, it was very simple, just one screw. She's fastened in there pretty nicely. The next thing we're talking about, they want us to bring this out again. The thing that we use to test the solenoid. And we got our trusty button here. So it says that the motor connection piece is going to be over here. This one over here. And let's get that in there real quick. Okay, good. So we've got in there, the test is working. There are no specific controls right now on this board to be able to turn it left or right or whatnot, but this seems to just be a test board. So there you go. She's rotating just nice. That's what it looks like. That's good to see. No defective parts. She works right off the back. But obviously we don't want to drain up these batteries, so I'll unplug this and we'll get to the next part. I'll be right back. Okay, so after reading the directions, which I should be doing a little bit more of, basically what's happening here is that it was also, we cranked the motor just to test it, but also they wanted this this triangle to be pointing towards this box here. And I'm assuming it's because of this piece that's going to serve as maybe some sort of a sensor. So basically this is going to be fed up here. There's a groove that makes sure that you only can put it in this way. And it should be like that. It's a little bit offline. Maybe I'll try to crank the motor a little bit more to get it right there. But for now, that's what they want us to do. And I'll get that in there. Alright, so after reading directions, this next part is going to be, it seems a lot complicated, much more than it actually is. But this is what we have so far. So we have the power cable going to the motor itself. And then we have this, what did they call it here? Remit switch over here. So the other side of the casing is going to be over here. So this, we're going to thread this cable basically through this hole. So let's just get that in there real quick. And then what they're going to want next is this power cable over here is going to be threaded through this hole over here. Let's pull that all the way through and make sure none of these cables are pinched. They're nice and kind of like on the tight side. Okay, there we go. So we got like this and like this. And then we got 4 screws that go in, and that seems to match what we want here with the remit switch cable going through this left side block, and then the motor power cable being threaded through this notch over here. And then we'll get those 4 screws in, and I believe after this motor is going to mount into the inside portion of the turret. So I'll get these 4 screws in there, and I'll be right back. A little more exciting this week. So I'm back. I got it in there. The 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it's properly, all the cables are properly threaded. I'm starting to get really tired. The hardest part about this entire kit, everything fits together quite beautifully, which I'm absolutely appreciative of that. There's no flash, no sprues, everything's ready to go. Biggest thing though is if you ever build a kit like this, I know they have other ones that they come up with. A lot of these small screws, metal screws being screwed into plastic, it's really a pain in the butt because if you ever worked with like screwing a lot of things into plastic, the way plastic is, it requires a little bit of elbow strength to get that those metal screws inside just because of the way that the plastic is. But at the same time, these screws are really prone to just basically these notches getting shaved off and making it progressively harder to get that screw in there. So you really have to be patient and going little by little. You can't just keep rotating the screwdriver, because if you you can de-thread that screw and then make things almost impossible going forward. I'm starting to think that might be why they give us, there's this weird trend of always giving us 1 extra screw for each type of screw. So that's always really nice, but it's been a really frustrating part of this kit. But it's all coming together good. You can't complain so much. So this is in like this. If we look at the instructions down here, it looks like we'll be mounting this motor into the turret now, and that probably will be the last step here. There's only really 4 screws left. So I'll get that turret out and let's take a look. So if we take a look here, always get the turret in the right positioning with the right line, same alignment as the instructions. So the barrel of the gun going left, because you know you've got 2 sides, right? The right and the left side. So you want to make sure you're putting everything in the right spot here. So in this alignment, it looks like this motor piece is going to be here with 5 screws. I was mistaken. Let me move my hand there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots. And the turret, if you can see, it lines up just like this. And she's going to go in like that. So the turret at the end product is going to look like this. So I'll get those 5 screws in there. This one's going to be another pain, but anyway, we'll get those screws in and I'll be back. That was a little bit harder than expected, but we got our 5 screws in there, as you can see. And that notch is feeding into this area that's housing the solenoid. So this motor is basically going to be actuating the turret in terms of up and down. So it looks like the default position is up for now. And then I think for the next step, we're going to string the cables around these parts that we put in previously down here, these cable guides, and then we're going to be hooking up these cables to the circuit board back here. So I'm going to get that arranged and done. I know there's instructions here, but it's probably easier to understand once I've shown it to you when it's finished. So I'll be right back. All right, there she goes. So we have the motor power as well as that sensor threaded the cables through here up into the board here. This is the motor power, that's the sensor. And then the solenoid we did a couple maybe a month back, that power cable is threaded back here around and into this slot here, and that's what we have so far. Got some of the wiring done. This one took a little bit longer, but was kind of some good fun as well as some frustrating parts. Again, getting those small screws in. Plastic is not fun, especially when they start to lose their threading. Now I'll put this back on top. I usually take that off because it makes it easier to work with, and that's what we have so far. Through 9. We've got the turrets, yep, that couple door likes to open, and we got the cabling done here. So looking forward to getting this all in more. Next we'll have 10, and I believe 11, and I might try to bang out that video and get it posted, try to get ahead of everything for once. So thanks again for watching, and I hope you're stick around to watch a little bit more. See you next time.